Hey there, I'm Brandon Shope with the Wilmington Police Department, and here at WPD, we're already making some really cool upgrades across the department. New enhancements thanks to close to $1 million from Wilmington City Council that was approved. Some of these things actually include a new next-gen firearm, traffic light generators, the mounted unit set to get a new horse, and we've even got a new motorcycle trailer on the way for the motorcycle unit. Find out more right here. We've got it for you in this video.
So what we're doing is transitioning our regular police sidearm into what we believe is a better product with more accessories, and we anticipate seeing a higher level of performance from the officers, not only in their shooting but in their decision making. What works here on the range with the lights on under no stress is one thing, but real world performance out there on the street when you're being strained by the real world stresses of bullets that go both ways. There's time, space, ability, any number of environmental factors that can affect how an officer makes decisions and whether or not he can perform and actually hit something that he may be aiming at. So what we're trying to do is upgrade our equipment through technology and just quality products so that our folks are going to have literally what we believe to be the best sidearm anywhere in the state of North Carolina. So let me start at the front. The Surefire weapon mounted light here is simply just an LED flashlight. It's about 1,000 lumens, which is just a technical way of explaining it's really bright, very high quality flashlight. Going towards the back, we have, this is an RMR. You're going to hear me refer to this as a red dot sight. It is an electronic sighting system that uses a mirror or a lens to virtually project a red dot into the glass back here, and that is now an aiming system. Why that is important is it is what we believe a tremendous upgrade from the traditional iron sight system. Without being too technical, when a professional police officer is shooting, there's an infinite number of focal plane shifts, and the eye can only focus in one focal plane at a time. So you have multiple things you have to look at. You have a suspect or a bad guy, you have the weapon in his hand, you have any number of innocent citizens or civilians around him. Then you also have the front sight. You also have the rear sight. And what happens in the real world is that the human eye is constantly focusing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and never really focuses with 100% of his attention on any one thing, which should have been the front sight, because that's where accuracy comes from, and that's how we make bullets go where they need to go. The difference in methodology is this new technology allows us to change those focal plane shifts to a target focus, all right, or a suspect focus. So now, instead of having to line the sights in a traditional sight picture or sight alignment, we can look at the bad guy's hands. We can be crystal clear as to what the weapon is in their hand or in their belt. We can be crystal clear, was that a cell phone or was that a knife? And make good use of force decisions here.
Our horses are an aging group right now. We have 3 mounts that I believe the youngest is around 17 years of age at this point. So being that they're animals and not a piece of equipment, we can't just, when one reaches end of life, we can't just put them out to pasture and throw another one in there. We can't, they're an animal, they need to be trained. So there's a process they need to go through. So what we've done is we've looked to the future and decided that now is the time to find a horse, select the proper animal, get him here and start getting him trained up so that when one of our 3 decides, that's it, I'm done serving the citizens, we can go ahead and pull that horse offline, and we'll have another horse that is already trained up and ready to go, and we can just put him right back into the group and keep on marching forward.
We've had these guys, we got them at 3 and 4 years old, so we've had them for a long time. The downside is they're all approaching retirement age at the same time, but you know, we get a lot of years out of our investment when we purchase them young. So, you know, again, they're 21. We want them to have a good retirement and still have plenty of life left after they retire from WPD.
They're a staple in the downtown business district. We do use them across the city in various areas, but primarily they are assigned to the downtown unit, and they are mostly seen in the business districts downtown, Water Street, Front Street, 2nd and 3rd, and they're a huge, huge help for crowd control. So there's nothing like moving an unruly crowd with a 1,200-pound animal.
I enjoy the relationship with the animal. To me, it's great to be able to come in and work with this animal. You spend a lot of time together. You train together. You just build that relationship, and it's nice to be able to. I mean, it's fun to ride a horse, man, and it's great to be able to do police work on a horse. I get to have a lot of interactions with the public that I wouldn't necessarily have if I was riding around in a car.
I am at Military and Eastwood, which is one of our busiest intersections in the city, and I'm also dressed with my traffic vest and my hat on. And these lights today are doing great because they're functioning properly like they're supposed to. But during hurricanes and other incidents, when the lights go out, this is a pretty big intersection, and when the lights are out, it causes us to have to put police officers in the intersection directing traffic. And there's several disadvantages to that. One, you can only put them out there on a hot, humid day or a cold day for 20 minutes at a time. So this intersection normally takes 2 to 3 officers, so you would require a 4th and 5th officer to relieve them. And that is not the best utilization of our resources as a police department. Also, directing traffic is very dangerous. Throughout this country, countless officers are injured each year out while they're controlling traffic. So one of the innovative ideas that we came up with as a city was to utilize generator backup power when the intersections are down. So I am proud to say that the City Council has supported us on purchasing generators. We're going to pre-wire 37 intersections this budget year where if the power does go out, we don't have to put our men and women out directing traffic. We can still allow our city to operate efficiently and effectively through generator power. This project has been a passion of mine for quite some time. About 25 years ago, believe it or not, I was a young Wilmington police officer, and we had 2 hurricanes hit this community, Fran and Bertha. And for 2 weeks, I directed traffic for 12 hours a day. And I made a pledge as a young officer, if I'm ever in a position where I can do something to avoid officers having to direct traffic and to make our city flow more smoothly, I would. And several years back when I was the captain over support services, I started pushing the idea of utilizing backup generators to power our intersections. Through a partnership with our city traffic and engineering and NCDOT, we were able to make that happen this year. In addition to the intersections being able to be powered by a generator, they can also be powered by an inverter in some of our patrol cars.
Wilmington Police Headquarters was completed in 2006, and the state of our security system was state-of-the-art in 2006. So here in 2021, we're a bit behind the times, so we are currently in the process of upgrading our entire security system. So all of our card readers, our gate entry and exit card readers, all of the push bars on all the doors. Our camera system is an aging, failing system. We are in the process of installing 60 cameras inside and out to keep a much better, closer eye on headquarters.
It helps us transport our motorcycles to different locations, sometimes throughout the state. We represent our department, our city, and officer-involved funerals, doing different escorts throughout the state. We've just recently done one in Charlotte-Mecklenburg area. We can also transport all 4 motorcycles to different locations to participate in Bike Safe North Carolina events, and as well as transport them obviously to Raleigh to have maintenance done on the vehicles as well.
The additional items that are being added to the Sting and Intel Center primarily surround firearms offenses. It's going to help us to more quickly identify firearms that have been used before. We were having to run these pieces of evidence either to the state lab or to another lab in Fayetteville. And Fayetteville's almost a 2-hour drive, and the state lab in Garner is a 2-hour drive. So our detectives, were having to drive those pieces of evidence up there, and then there was some time it took them to analyze the pieces of evidence, whereas when we're doing it here, we'll have that ability, number one, lacking the road trip, the 2-hour road trip and gathering the evidence. We'll have the evidence here in-house and we'll analyze it instantaneously.
The Sting Center primarily relies on technology to do our kind of day-to-day job. So one of the things that we're getting are new computers and new monitors for our workstations. When technology fails, we can't do our job. And so being able to not only replace the computers we have, but get them on the IT replacement plan will help keep the Sting Center better outfitted with technology for years to come.
In fiscal year 22, we requested additional funds to pay for counseling for officers who respond to traumatic events. The additional funds actually allow us the flexibility to, when we have a traumatic event, to get someone into counseling, to see someone, to talk about it, so it doesn't build up over time and become a problem over time. It's FMRT is the vendor that we use. The officers go see a certified counselor who helps them talk their way through traumatic events that they've experienced. And the goal is, like I said, is to not keep them, exposing them to traumatic event after traumatic event. They can go ahead and speak with someone and help them work through if they have any issues. In law enforcement, suicide is becoming a very fast issue. And one of the issues that researchers have discovered is that mental health, it's the traumatic events that officers experience throughout their career. So by allowing officers to go ahead and talk with someone and to provide them with the tools to try to work through some of those situations, to keep them physically and mentally fit to do their job on a daily basis.